Are you guys ready for another reflection from the front seat? First, I need to get my vlogging gear set up. I'm starting out on my cell phone so I can show you what I go through to set this thing up. Today, I'm going to have my vlogging gear right up here. First up, the Canon EOS M50 vlogging camera. A lot of you ask me, what on earth happened to the M6 that you had? It broke, I dropped it, but check this out. Let me flip this thing around. I got the M50 because it has the flip out screen to the side, and now I can put my mic on top. And of course, I now use the Rode VideoMic Pro Plus. I used to have the VideoMic Pro, but I am now using the Plus because it automatically turns itself on and off. I love that. Thank you, Rode microphones, for giving us that option. And then I have inside of here, I could do a 22mm fixed lens, or I may do my 11 to 22, I think this is 11 to 22. Yep, 11 to 22 lens here. So I haven't decided which one I'm gonna use yet, but I also have this setup right here. By the way, this right here is an Arca Swiss mount plate. Or actually, this is anyway, it's the mounting plate. On the bottom of my camera, I think that's the 22mm plate that's on there. That's Arca Swiss. Allows me to still open up the camera compartment on the bottom while the plate remains on there consistently at all times. So I love that. Anyway, and this is a RAM mount system. This is they make tons of different pieces, but I'll tell you what, I'll have in the YouTube description of this video, I will have links to all of the pieces of gear that make up my current vlogging gear. But yeah, so I'm gonna suction cup this up here and mount my camera and put my stuff up here. I'll be right back. Camera gear all set up, check it out. Hey everybody. Anyway, yep, this is what it looks like. I am now ready to record my reflection. So let's do this thing. Raw, unedited, unfiltered, Cliff Ravenscraft, you get my thoughts today, and I do know the topic of what I want to talk about today. Have no idea what I'm about ready to say, but that's the fun of this thing, right? All right, time, scheduling. Are you the master of your own schedule? Do you determine what you do each day? Do you have the freedom and the flexibility to decide every day what you do or don't want to do? Well, all of us have the freedom to decide what we do or don't want to do. The question is do you have the freedom to actually act upon what you want to do or don't want to do? Meaning, do you have the freedom that if you don't want to do something, that you can just choose not to do it, and it's not gonna have major negative consequences in your life? And the things that you want to do, the things that you'd say, I desperately wish I could achieve, I could just go and do this today or tomorrow, do you have the actual freedom in your life to be able to say, okay, I want to do that, I'm gonna go do that? Do you have the freedom to say, oh, wait a second, there were things scheduled today that I'm committed to? Do you have the freedom to say, you know what? I wonder if I reached out to that person and asked them, is it possible? Could we move that to next week sometime? Do you have that freedom, that flexibility? Are you in control of your own schedule? And more importantly, do you believe it's possible that you ever could be if you're not? I know that I used to struggle a lot about my daily life, my work that I did, and this idea of having margin in my life, this idea of having flexibility in my schedule, the fact that, you know, I grew up with this idea that, number one, if you want to earn money, you have to work hard to get it. And by the way, I'm actually, I'm not somewhat, that's wrong. I'm extremely thankful to my dad, my stepdad, who has actually now since adopted me, so he's my dad. That's another vlog story for another time. It's actually something I think I talked about in a vlog a long time ago. But anyway, one thing I'm thankful to my dad for is the fact that I did get my work ethic from my dad. And it's one of my greatest gifts, the fact that I am not afraid to work hard. And I mean, like, literally, when I'm saying work hard, I mean like doing grunt work that I normally don't want to do, but it's got to get done. Somebody's got to do it, and it might as well be me. And the fact that even if I don't like it, I'm going to do it anyway. I got a lot of that from my dad, and I'm thankful for it. But at the same time, it's caused me issues in my life. This idea that not that my dad said, listen, if you have not worked hard minute by minute, second by second, or going the other way, hour by hour, week after week, if you have not like poured out your blood, sweat, and tears doing the thing that you do, then you should not, then you have not, quote unquote, earned that money. My dad never taught me that. But you know what? I learned from him that my dad had become extremely, wildly, financially successful. And a lot of that, what had been demonstrated to me, is that it came from my dad's blood, sweat, and tears, working countless hours around the clock, selflessly pouring himself into those clients that actually paid him the money that for all the products and services that he sold as an insurance agent. He demonstrated to me how working hard can equal lots of income. And in somewhere throughout my life, I equated the fact that because he did that equaled the financial success he had in his life. And so somewhere along the lines, I tied up the idea that if I am not working hard, I don't deserve the money that I'm getting. So, and some of this comes to like, listen, well, no, I think I summed that point up. And I think some of you get that. I think some of you probably understand exactly what I'm talking about. So, yeah, there's that. Then there is the time when I decided to start working for myself. You know, I start my own business. I no longer have a day job. I am now self-employed. And granted, for the first year, I had to work around the clock. There were so many things I didn't know about business. There are so many things I didn't know about creating products and services. There's so many things I didn't know about pricing. And even when I started learning about all of those things, there were so many things in between these 2 years up here in the head, so many mental mindset shifts that had to occur, that as a result of just not knowing what I didn't know, and then once I knew it, not knowing how to apply it, or being afraid to apply it because it just goes against everything I've ever been taught all my life and come to believe, as a result of all of that, I found myself working around the clock just to make ends meet financially in my business. And because of that, I know in 2008, the very first year I went full-time, Cliff Ravenscraft owns his own business, January 1st, 2008. That first year, I worked around the clock, 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week, and I didn't take a single day off. Not one day did I take off for the first 9 months. And you know what? The business was paying for itself. It was paying for the CPA. It was paying for health insurance for the family. It was making all the ends just barely meet. I wasn't getting a paycheck, didn't get a paycheck from my business for the first 9 months, but we had finances saved up and other miraculous things that God did in my life and in our family's lives to make ends meet on the personal financial side. That's another vlog post for another time. I've told that story, but here we're talking about not financial margin. We're talking about time margin today. So I remember working around the clock, and I remember saying, wow, the fact that this business hasn't shut down and I haven't had to go back to my dad and say, can I please have my insurance? Do you know what? I should probably check to make sure that plug's plugged in all the way. I'm gonna take just a second here man, what button is it? It's this button right here. You know what? I'm praying that you guys have been hearing me. I forgot to do the audio check. All right. I didn't have to go back, and I didn't beg my dad, please, can I have my insurance job back? Why? Because I was making enough money just to keep moving forward and actually feeling like I was moving in the right direction. I knew the day would come when I'd have my first paycheck from my business, and we were on the right path, and we had our emotion. I had my emotional ups and downs. My wife had her emotional ups and downs, but we were a partnership. We were a team. We were absolutely. Somebody's gonna park right in front of my Beetle, but that's okay. You know, some of you are like, seriously, she's like literally parking like right in front of my Beetle. And I'm like in the way furthest corner section. Okay, she's maybe moving. Nope, she's just straightening up her car. That's all right. Some of you out there are afraid to create content when somebody comes by and they're like, what the heck is that guy doing talking into a camera in his front seat of his car out in public and stuff like that? And it's like, you know what? It's okay. Just wave to him. I'm talking to you, Ray Edwards. I'm talking to you, Chris Pavone. I'm going to wait until she looks at me again because she's already looked at me. She's like glanced once. Oh, no, she's going to take a while. Oh, she's putting her contacts in. Cool. So she must work here. I'm actually sitting, what place? This is Texas Roadhouse parking lot that I'm sitting in. And she's putting her contacts in. She must be one of the wait staff here, and she's parking far out. I don't think she's gonna look at me again. But anyway, there's nothing to be embarrassed about. We live in a social media world. We live in a new media world. We live in a world where everybody's a content creator, and people just understand that you're probably not crazy talking to yourself. You're probably actually creating content that's changing people's lives, and they're probably thinking, wow, I should be doing what that guy's doing. You know? Way to go, video person. I don't know. Maybe it's just me. But yeah, oh, okay, she's definitely got the Texas Roadhouse shirt on. She's grabbing her backpack out of her car, and she's locking things up. She's want to make sure this crazy guy in the bug isn't going to break into my car. She's not probably thinking that. And she's walking away, and she didn't even give me a second glance. But hey, there's another worker out here who's actually looks like he's getting ready to walk home, and he nodded. How's it going today? How's it going today? Good. Awesome. I'm just a crazy guy sitting here in my front seat talking to myself. You ever do that? Yeah. Yeah. Awesome, man. Anyway, so what was I saying? I got to the place. See, you guys wanted raw, unedited, unfiltered Cliff. This is me. This is the real guy. Dude, I'm free, man. It is for freedom that Jesus has set us free. How many of you are free? How many of you are, I mean, truly, how many of you are free from the fear of what that guy thinks of me? How many of you are free from the fear of that girl who parks in front of your car and looks at you with a side glance and says, what the heck's that dude doing? How many of you are free to just be yourself? And if you're not, it's possible. I want to promise you this. It is possible for every one of you to be as free can be, man. Especially, you know, by the way, for those of you who are not faith-based, you don't believe in God, you don't believe in Jesus, I get that. That's cool. I'm not here to convince you of any of that stuff, but let me just tell you, I do. And so, and I know a lot of my people in my community, a lot of you watching me right now, you have come up with a lot of the beliefs that I have about faith and stuff like that. And I just want to say this. It really is for freedom that Jesus came to set us free. And those he has set free indeed. All right? And don't let yourself be shackled and bound and yoked to bondage of anything else anymore. Break free and be yourself. That's why he came. Anyway, wow. I didn't mean to get all preachy there. Where was I? Okay, so I worked around the clock, and I thought, well, the reason why I didn't have to, see, I'm getting back to it. All that because she parked in front of me. Anyway, so I didn't have to go and beg for my job. And I thought to myself, the reason why I've been able to continue to get at least this far into this without having to go back and beg for my job back is because I've worked around the clock, because I've worked so hard. And I continued to do it. Well, actually, after 9 months, I did finally say, okay, enough is enough. I need at least a day off. And so I started taking 1 day a week off. I increased the number of hours I worked on the other days because I didn't want to feel like a slacker. And yes, I was working 12 to 14 hours a day, 7 days a week. And I went to 6 hours a day. And yes, I just told you that I increased the number of hours that I worked the other 6 days. There's a reason I ended up in the hospital January 2009 and almost died. That's a whole nother story for another vlog. But here's what I will tell you. At the end of my first year, I had a profitable year in my business. I actually did make a paycheck. I did not go into any debt whatsoever. And my CPA says, congratulations, most businesses don't see a profit until after their second or third year. Congratulations. And I'm like, yep, it's because I worked so hard around the clock to make it happen. And I felt good about myself. And actually the reality is that all of that was somewhat true. So let's fast forward to like fall of 2010. All right, a lot of things happened in my business, some really cool things, and I started making more money than I'd ever made in my life. It's like, wow, I'm actually getting a paycheck every month, and this paycheck is actually a bigger paycheck than I used to get at the insurance office. This is weird, but I still felt good about it because I was working harder in my business, I was putting in more hours, more blood, more sweat, more tears, more of everything of me into this business than I ever put into somebody else's business. There's a lesson there to be learned. There is a lesson to be learned about the fact that when you are working for yourself, you have your own business, you're doing your own thing, you're making your own stuff happen, you are going to come more fully alive and be more committed, more devoted to doing the work that is the stuff that you were put onto this earth to do, the people that you were put on this earth to serve, the people who are paying you directly for the value that you're going to serve them with so much more of you than if it was actually somebody else's dream business, somebody else's dream, all that other stuff. I can tell you that I came fully alive when I started working for myself. But I felt like, man, I feel good about the amount of money I'm making at that point in late 2010 because I was working hard. But the thing is I started to have more money than what my goal was. Did I just say that? I just said that I had a problem. I had a problem that I had a set amount. My business at the time, and I think at that time it was, I needed $10,000 a month business income, and I had very little overhead. I mean, talking like my business has very little overhead. I had no other employees other than myself. I very little overhead. So I needed $10,000 per month, and then that allows me to pay a certain amount for my paycheck, and knowing that I'm including all those taxes, where you have to pay the Medicare and the federal employee withholding, and you have to match it because of the kind of business thing that I have, all of that good stuff. But at the end of the thing, my net income every month was a very set amount, and as long as I hit 10,000, then all of a sudden it's like, yeah, we're good. And sometimes there were times where I would work, and let's just say it's the 18th of the month. We're just beyond halfway through the month. And now all of a sudden I've hit that 10K. That means at the end of the month, when it's time to sit down and do the accounting, because we only did it once a month, it's time to write the check. I know for a fact that if I didn't make another penny for the rest of this month, we're fine. And I know for a fact that if I don't even try anything, I know for a fact that I'm going to actually still make more money than I've already made. It's just how I've got things set up in my business. So I had margin in my schedule. I didn't have to do anything else to generate more income that month. Now, come the first of the month, I'd need to turn it back on again. And what I found is I started to slack off. I could have actually worked just as hard for the remainder of that month as I did in the beginning of the month, but I chose not to because I hit my financial goal. And by the way, there's a whole lesson in all of what I'm just now saying right there that I'm just going to take right here. It's here, and trust me, there's a whole teaching and a lesson about your financial standard and what you feel like you're worthy of generating, all of that stuff. And let me just say, I can't tell you everything in one piece of content all the time because, well, I just can't. So I'm going to take that topic right here, and we're just going to lift it up, and we're going to just set it out there, and I threw it out the window. Did I just do that? Yep, it's out on the ground. It's out there. But trust me, don't worry about it, because where that came from, it'll follow me. It's gonna come back, and it'll come up another time. So yeah, this is the real me. All right. So what was I saying? Okay, so it's the 18th of the month. I hit my 10K. Now what do? I'm gonna go out for a walk in the middle of the day. It's 11 o'clock in the morning, and I'm gonna go for a walk through my old neighborhood, because that's where I lived. I didn't live in 2010 where I live now. I'm thinking of myself 2010. I go out for a walk, and I'm recording an episode of Pursuing a Balanced Life, and I go like, are you wondering why and they say, what's this visual, Cliff? I'm recording an episode of, because I had a little recorder, a handheld Roland recorder that I would put in my hand. I would literally hold it right like here, and it had two little microphones built into it with a little foam windscreen on top of it. I had my earbuds in, all right, and I would plug it in, and I would be walking. Hey everybody, Cliff Ravenscraft here with another episode of Pursuing a Balanced Life. It's my daily audio journal, and today I'm out here walking. It's 11 o'clock in the afternoon, and you know what I would do? I'd spend about 10-15 minutes telling the audience how guilty I feel about the fact that I'm out walking at 11 o'clock in the afternoon. What am I doing here? Feeling like I almost need to explain it to you guys. Well, I want you to know, I know it's 11 o'clock in the afternoon, and I know that I'm going to be out here recording for the next hour in this podcast, but I got to explain to you why I'm not working right now. I mean, let me just tell you how hard I've worked for the past 18 days, or the past 17 days, and how all of that work and blah, 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 and here's all the things I learned, and I just want you guys, please understand, I have worked hard for 17 days, but now here I am, and I'm pretty much just taking the afternoon off. And I felt like I needed to explain myself. Explain yourself, Cliff Ravenscraft. I needed to explain to my audience why I was taking the day off. Actually, you know what? I needed to explain to myself why I was taking the day off. That's really the truth of it. I was trying to explain to myself, because I felt guilty for going for a walk at 11 o'clock. Who on earth, on a Tuesday, takes the day off? You've got your own business, dude. You got a stay-at-home wife and mother, and you got 3 young kids, and you're out walking? And you tell me you're serious about your business? What are you doing taking a day off? And it felt weird. And so as a result of that, I found myself, I would go back to the office, and I would like say, okay, I can't really take the rest of the day off. Let me go and do something. And I'd busybody myself. But I'd busybody myself with things that didn't generate income. I would busybody myself with things that were absolute, utter, nothing other than distractions, and things that added really no lasting value in my own personal life, not in my own professional life. I was just doing things to stay busy so that I didn't feel guilty about taking the day off, because you know what? It's not fair that Cliff Ravenscraft gets to take the day off when everybody else who's listening to your podcast doesn't get to. That's just not fair. So quit taking the day off. That's ridiculous. That's how I used to deal with that. And you know what? I dealt with that for months. And I would even tell you I've dealt with it for years. And I would tell you that that was 2010. My friends, it is Friday, June 22nd, 2018. And I still somewhat deal with that. That mindset, that feeling like there's just no way I should be able to take this much time off, have this much margin in my schedule. You know, the reality is nothing's changed. Well, a lot of things have changed. A lot of people, actually a couple hundred people over the years I've helped actually leave their day job, their unfulfilling work, where they felt miserable every day. They basically wasted away, wishing away their week so that they could live for the weekends and all that stuff. And I've helped a lot of people who have come alive and said, wow, what if I could do this for a living? What do I really want in life? And what if what I want in life is something other than what I'm doing now? And is there a way, if I really get serious about what I want in life, which certainly seems selfish to me, but if I'm going to ask the question, well, this is what I want from life, and then having them ask the question, well, what would it take for me to get that in life? Seriously, what would I have to believe? What would I have to do? And then helping them actually shift their mindset, helping them change their beliefs about who they are and what they can achieve and what it might take and what it might not take. And maybe it will take a couple months of you working around the clock, but maybe you need to have some conversations with your spouse so you can get on the same page. And maybe here's some tips on how you could actually approach that relationship breach between you and your spouse when it comes to your dream of leaving the day job, and helping people through that. And I've helped people through that. So some things have changed. I've helped a lot of people pursue their dreams successfully, building profitable businesses. That's what I do today. So some things have changed, but here's the thing. There are some of you who are still watching, who are watching me right now, and you're 20 some odd minutes into this piece of content. And there are some of you who are still stuck in an unfulfilled day job. And you probably are watching me right now, and I'm distracting you from the work that your boss would prefer you do. And there's part of me that says, I wonder if I should just be out here living my life with so much margin and shouting it to the rooftop of how free I feel and how awesome it is when you're suffering in that way. And part of me says, get over it, Cliff Ravenscraft. Let your light shine. Let manifest the glory of God inside of you and the freedom that He gave you to fully walk, to get out of the boat that you were in, the comfort zone of whatever this security of the day job is, and your belief system that that's the only way to generate income is to eke out that $30,000 a year, that $60,000 a year, that $120,000 a year income for exchanging your, oh, come on, let's be serious. It's not 40 hours a week. It's moved up to 50 to 60 for many of you, and you know it. But you have that belief that they have, is it possible to live a life of your dreams? And I know for a fact it is. I know for a fact it is. And so, here's the deal. Recently, I had been struggling because I keep saying 9 months ago, but man, it's been a couple months. I'm going to take a drink of water, if you guys don't mind. Oh, that's good. Beautiful day today. So let me put that back in the shade. There's just like one more swig of water in there, and I'm going to need that after I finish this vlog today. So I changed some things a little while back. You know what? In yesterday's vlog, I said, you know what? This kind of looks weird, this whole putting my arm back, but I don't care if I look weird. I'm comfortable right now. That's what matters. I wonder, can I swivel my chair the other way? Oh, look at that. See, I have these, check this out. I have these swivel seats in my Bug. I can swivel out like this, and then it locks me in. I'm gonna close that back. But check this out. I swivel the other way, and now I'm comfortable. Wow. Why didn't I try to swivel this before? I like this. Where was I at? So a couple months ago, back in September of 2017, I started asking myself that crazy question. Man, I wonder what life would be like if I didn't have to do podcasting A to Z anymore. You see, podcasting A to Z was generating a minimum of $250,000 a year for me. A minimum of $250,000 a year. Every single year, year after year, minimum. And it absolutely, hands down, was something that I could consistently rely upon. And you know what? I'm 26 minutes into this vlog, and this camera cuts off at 29 minutes and 59 seconds. How about right now I intentionally stop this recording, and then I start a new one so that it doesn't actually cut off in mid-sentence. I'm gonna do that right now. And we're back. So, consistently, $250,000 a year, minimum income every single year. But you know what? That piece of income, that stream of income, required me to work around the clock, Monday through Friday, absolutely hands down pouring every ounce of my being into 20 human beings for 4 weeks straight, Monday through Friday. And I gotta tell you that even in my own self-employed business, very financially successful, doing what I love, but gotta tell you, man, my goal and my desire is to focus on my health and fitness first,
and stuff like that. But man, I made this commitment for whatever reason that if you sign up for Podcasting A to Z, I will be your coach. It's going to cost you $2,000. I'll do up to 20 people. Yes, that's $40,000 of income in 1 month. And here's what I will tell you. If you're one of my 20 students, this is what you get. Unlimited access to me as your personal coach for 4 weeks. And I will answer every single question you could possibly think to ask me. Every single question you could possibly ask for 4 weeks, guaranteed every question. And I won't give you just little pat answers. And how it worked is that most of those questions came, I mean, we had weekly group coaching calls, which were 2 hours. And yes, a lot of people got questions answered that way. And the group format was very good leverage of my time. But I also gave people access to a discussion forum for the 4 weeks of the course. And I encouraged them, listen, you can post 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. There is no limit to the number of questions you can ask me. And in fact, there's no limit to the type of question you can ask me. You can ask me anything, even as it relates to business or mindset or health and fitness or anything. It doesn't have to be related to podcasting. And in fact, I encourage you to do so because I prefer talking about things other than the podcasting stuff, but I'm certainly going to answer all of your podcasting stuff to the fullest measure as well. But man, ask me anything, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. But here's the deal. I used to respond around the clock 7 days a week. And finally, for the last few years I was doing it, I said, listen, you can post anytime you want, but just know I only answer questions between Monday through Friday, and I only answer them from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. Eastern time. But you can post them anytime, and it doesn't matter what your time zone is. Just ask me your questions, I'll answer them. And I gotta tell you, from Monday through Friday, from 10 a.m. to 5 p.m., I worked my butt off answering all those people. I mean, and trust me, they loved it, and I loved it too. I mean, I loved serving every single one of those clients. And I felt like because I was working so hard, it was absolutely, I generated the amount of income, and I felt good about the income that I had because I felt like I worked hard enough for it. But when it came down to it, man, for the 4 weeks, and I did that for 4 straight weeks of the course, and I did that course 6 times a year, practically every other month. And I gotta tell you, every other month, a little part of me was dying inside because I had no margin in my time. It's like lunch breaks, 30 minutes, maybe. And my own health and fitness, I had to wake up at 4 o'clock in the morning just so I could go to the gym and have that done before I started that 10-hour, that massive day. And oh man, it was eating me up inside. And I had, it's like, there are things at school that the kids had going on. It's like, hey Dad, can you come to school and see this? And I'm like, yeah, I can. It's form, right? It's all time delayed. And I told people I would only answer questions between 10 a.m. to 5 p.m. And the thing is to answer all that, to keep up with this, I literally had to be working all of those hours most of the time. But yes, I can go and I can take a total of 2 hours, come up to school and see your program and this project that you've been working on for science and stuff like that, and come cheer you on and stuff like that. But man, when I come back from that after being gone for 2 hours, man, I'm gonna have this backlog, and I might even have to go back past 5 p.m. just to catch up on it. This was not the margin. This wasn't the life that I wanted for myself. And I started so September of last year, I started to say, what would life be like if what do I want from life? What do I want from my business? Do I want this schedule that ties me to that many hours a week? And I said, no. And I said, well, if I could have anything in life, what would I want? Well, I'd love a life where you know what I would love? I would love a life where all of my income was generated by entertaining, educating, encouraging, and inspiring people. All of my income from doing what I love most. What I love most is creating content. I don't care if it's audio. I don't care if it's vlog. I don't care if it's Instagram stories. I don't care if it's Facebook Live. I just want to talk. and I want to share what I'm thinking. I want to share my gifts, my talents, my passions, my experiences. I want to share my areas of expertise. I want to share things I've learned. I want to share things I'm struggling with. I want to share things that I'm succeeding in. I want to share it all with the world in hopes that it touches people, that it unlocks something inside of people, that it pulls chains off of people and sets them free to take that next step to go and do what it is they're called to do in this world, to become more of who they were created to be. I want to make a living doing all of that, but with margin in my life. Margin financially and margin in my schedule. So I began to say, okay, that's what I want from life. That's what I want from business. And by the way, I want zero of my income to come from teaching people how to podcast. The technical aspects of podcast, I want zero. 0% of income to come from that. Now, I got to tell you, when I said that in September of last year, 100% of my income came from teaching people how to podcast. And I said, I want to get to the place where none of it does. And I said, okay, what would it take? What would it take for me to get to the place where that's the case? What kind of streams of income would I need to actually put in place, and what's possible there? What would I have to do, and how many hours would I have to work, and do I want to work that many hours? And I said, you know what? I love working with one-on-one. I love working with people one-on-one, and I'd love to be able to still work with people in a mentoring capacity one-on-one, but I want to limit that to one day of the week, Tuesdays, okay? So I'll do one-on-one mentoring, and I'll allow myself to be available for one-on-one mentoring for just a very small number of people. It's $3,500, and that gives you 3 one-hour mentoring sessions with me within a 90-day period of time. I said, that's one stream of income. And you know what? I do very little to market that. It's not even on my Work With Me page. If you go to cliffravenscraft.com, it's not even mentioned there. But that's an option. And I've mentioned it. I just drop it here and there. I just dropped it like it's hot right here. You know what? That one's not thrown out the window. That one is, I want you to imagine for the rest of this vlog, right here, it's dangling. It's this tangible thing. Hey, right here, Cliff Ravenscraft just threw it out there. It's not advertised on his website, but I could hire him for $3,500 and he would mentor me one-on-one personally for 3 one-hour mentoring sessions, and he would actually take genuine interest in who I am and help me try to succeed in pursuing whatever it is I want him to mentor me in. And it's dangling right here. So look, it's just hovering. Do you see it? I'm looking in the screen. I see it. So it's there. It's only visible to those of you who actually get those little glimpses of it here and there. So just know that it's dangling there. It's always available to you, at least for a while, for as long as I want to offer it. So if you want to hire me for that, the only way, email me, cliff@cliffravenscraft.com, and say mentoring package in the subject line. But anyway, I said I'll offer that to rent, and I'll just drop it here every now and then. And you know what? I always have 2 or 3 people per month who sign up for that. And that alone generates tons of income, and it's only one day of the week that I make those calls available. They're Tuesdays between 11 a.m. and 5 p.m. By the way, I said, listen, I never want to be committed to anything prior to 11 a.m. There is one exception to that, but that'll come up in a second. I said another thing that I love is I love mastermind groups, and I've been dreaming of doing a paid mastermind group. But would people pay me? Would people pay me $1,000 a month to be in a mastermind group with me and to have all of the benefits that come along with the mastermind? And I'm not going to share all that with you here, except to say if you want to know what those are, head over to nextlevelmastermind.info. nextlevelmastermind.info, not .com, nextlevelmastermind.info. Anyway, and guess what? I have enough people in my Next Level Mastermind right now and I have I have 2 meetings, and one is Wednesday morning and one is Wednesday evening. The one on Wednesday morning is 90 minutes every Wednesday morning from 9:30 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time. And the one Wednesday evenings is every Wednesday evening from 7:30 p.m. to 9 p.m. Eastern Time. And get this, let's just say I have 0 one-on-one mentoring clients. I have enough people in my next level mastermind, enough income coming in from that, where if I generated no other income in my business, all I have to do is show up for that meeting on Wednesday morning and that meeting on Wednesday evening, and in 1 day a week, within 3 hours, all of the business financial needs of my business are met. 1 day a week. So much so that it's possible for me today to take every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and Monday off. And if I want to, I could always take Tuesdays off as well, but I usually always have something on Tuesday. I usually always have at least 1 or 2 mentoring calls, or I have a scheduled meeting with my Free the Dream event planning staff, or I have a podcast interview that somebody invited me to be a guest on their show. And so, I do those on Tuesdays. But here's the thing. All of that to say this. I have the margin in my schedule today to take every Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and most of every Tuesday off if I want to. And there have been times recently in the last couple of weeks and even the last month and a half where I've done it. Got a text message coming in from one of my mastermind members. Let me see if this is anything. Cliff, after reviewing recordings of my training, I need to upgrade my gear for a higher quality. Do you already have a recorded resource I could follow and set up your recommendations? All right. So Tom Griffith, who is a member of my Next Level Mastermind, this is a cool thing. One of the thing is people who are part of my Next Level Mastermind, they all have access to me throughout the week. If you're a member of the Next Level Mastermind, you're one of 24 people who I have intentionally said that you are someone that I am absolutely committed to your success, and I want to make myself as available to you as I possibly can. It's not just about that 90-minute meeting every single week. I am accessible to you. You can text me 24/7. Nobody takes advantage of it, like in a bad way. But people know that they can reach out to me, and they're very respectful. Like Tom Griffiths just saying, hey, do you have he's not asking me to sit down with him personally, but you know what I'm going to do is I will respond to Tom, not right now. I will respond to him in a little while, and I'll respond to Tom and say, you know what, Tom, let me jump on a call and answer all of your questions one-on-one, specifically just for you, so that I don't send you to a recording and you have to farm out and fish out all the different things that might apply to you. I'll personally one-on-one devote that time to you. And guess what? At no charge. He's already an ongoing, recurring, paid member of the Next Level Mastermind. It's one of the benefits. It's not even advertised on the site, by the way. nextlevelmastermind.info. Did I tell you that? Would you like to have that kind of access to Cliff Ravenscraft? It's $1,000 per month, every single month. But I'm telling you, you join, and you'll find out why every single member of the Next Level Mastermind, they tell you the 90 minutes of our meeting every week, it's their favorite hour, it's their favorite 90 minutes of their week every week. It's the favorite thing on their schedule every week. And the relationship I have with them is second to none, and I would love to have that relationship with you if you're interested. nextlevelmastermind.info. nextlevelmastermind.info. Anyway, so I have all this margin, and you know what? I've been taking advantage of it. You can't see it. Hold on. You can if I do this. You can't see it, but I'm sitting here. Dude. Okay, hold on. So my screen just like totally disappeared from me on a second. So I stopped and started again just to make sure. But check this out. It'll take a second for my camera to decide to adjust the lighting there. But check that out. Planet Fitness up on the hill. That's where I spend a majority of my week these weeks. Okay, I'm gonna put this back on the thing and then I'll come back. And we're back. But here's the thing. I spend 10 to 15 hours a week, every week, inside that gym on the Stairmaster. 10 to 15 hours a week, every week. And guess what? Some of them are in the middle of the day. Because I can. And I don't feel guilty about it anymore. I have that margin in my life. If you want to know how is it that Cliff Ravenscraft has lost 85 pounds and stayed committed to working out 6 days a week, every week for the rest of his life, which actually I'm doing 7 days a week now. But anyway, my commitment is a minimum of 6 days a week. How is it that I'm doing it? How do I have this face compared to what you've seen me in the past? It's because I have the freedom and the flexibility and the margin in my life to say no to everything else so that I can say yes to the things that I most feel called to do in my life. Today in my business, I told you I could spend all day Friday. I could wake up at 8:30 on Friday morning instead of 4:30 if I want to. Sometimes I get up at 4:30, never because I have to. Never do I get up at 4:30 in the morning because I have to. I got up at 4:30 in the morning every morning this week prior to today because I wanted to, and I couldn't wait to start my day because of all of the things I had that I was excited to do. But today I got up at 8:30 because I stayed up late helping my daughter with a video project for her graduation party that's coming up tomorrow. And I got up at 8, whatever time I just said, and I came here and I went to this gym and I walked inside there and I worked out for 2 full hours and loved it. Got enough, man, more text message? No, these are the reminders of things that are on my schedule. Okay, I absolutely loved it, and I came out and I drove down here and I found myself a place to set up this vlogging setup. And gosh, what is it? It's 12:30 in the afternoon. It is 12:30 in the afternoon, and it's like, man, and I haven't done any work at all, except for the fact that, guess what? Everything that I did, like the Instagram stories that I did a 10-minute Instagram story or IGTV video thing before I went into the gym. That didn't feel like work, but man, is it doing the thing? Does it help my business? And is it doing, yeah, is that why I do it? No, it's what I feel called to do. And guess what? It will indirectly generate lots of income as a result of the content I'm putting out into the world, but it's not why I do it. It's just the fun awesomeness of what this kind of business can be. And I love it. And then I went into the gym and I created another 10-minute Instagram IGTV thing there, and I'm actually working during that. But you know what? It's not about the fact that, do I feel good about how I spent my day because I was working? No, it's just I feel good that I actually didn't have to do any of that, but I got to do it and not worry about, will this have a ROI, a direct return on income for the amount of time I spent in placing that content on the internet? No. You know what? If this thing doesn't, gosh, how long have I started this thing over? I don't even know how long this might be. Who knows how long this vlog episode will be? And I don't even care anymore because I know that if you're watching this right now, you're invested. You're like, Cliff, I'm on board, man. Thanks for keeping me accountable at the gym, and I'm actually been watching you this whole time. And I was only going to do a 35-minute workout, but man, I'm going to keep going until you stop. And so I'm actually helping you out. Some of you anyway. Some of you thinking, wow, why did I think of that? Maybe tomorrow? Maybe stop? No, don't stop. Anyway. But man, I'm sitting right here. It's 12:30 in the afternoon, and you know what? I'm so fired up. You know what? Before I used to eat emotionally and all this other stuff, and I got so huge and fat and all this other stuff because I was so unhappy, so unfulfilled, and blah. I felt horrible. I was out of shape, overweight, all of that other stuff because I was just not free. And you know what? Get this. So I got up this morning and I had my pre-workout. You know, I had a little bit of, what is it, C4 Ultimate pre-workout. It doesn't have any calories in it. It's got lots of caffeine. It got me buzzed and kicking, and it's like, yeah, I'm gonna go take this thing over. And I went in there and I kicked butt at that gym. I have not consumed a single calorie today. And that's not by intent. It's like, normally I would leave the gym after I get done, and if Chick-fil-A was open, I'd go have myself an egg white grill, 300 calories. But you know what? This morning I actually stayed in bed a little later because I stayed up later last night. I did my 2 hours at the gym, and you know what? More than wanting to go eat, I'm not hungry right now. I have zero hunger right now. Except for the fact that the hunger to create content, the hunger to find a place to park my bug and set up my vlogging gear and say, I have no idea what I'm gonna say today, but you know what? Right now, let's talk about how awesome life just might look like if you could be in charge of your own schedule, that you had the freedom and flexibility to decide every single day to do what you want to do, and you never again in your life ever have to do something that you don't want to do, that you despise doing. By the way, full transparency, there are things that I have to do in my business that I don't like. And you know what? There are some weeks where I have to do things on a Monday. Like once a month, every month, on a Monday, the final Monday of the month, Stephanie and I spend 2 hours doing accounting. And we do our own bookkeeping. And yes, could I hire somebody else to do that? Yes, I could. Do I? No. And I don't like it, but I do it. And so I don't want to just give you this false impression that you'll never have to do things. There are things that I have to do in this business still today. By the way, there are seasons in my business today where I'll need to actually go and work my butt off for 12-hour days for a couple weeks if I decide there's a project that I want to work on that may not be easy, that may require a whole lot more time, effort, and energy, and some of the steps in that project aren't necessarily my zone of genius, but I've got to do them, and it needs to get done by a deadline, and I don't have time to research hiring somebody, teaching somebody, and to do it with what my mind, let me just do it, let me dig in. And there are still times in my business today where I actually decide, but you know what, not because I have to, not because I'm not going to be able to put food on the table if I don't, because that doesn't exist for me anymore because of the ways that the things that I've learned and the things that I've built over the years. And so much of it today is because I actually did invest all of the blood. What is the blood? The blood, the sweat, the tears. You know, the blood, sweat, and tears had been invested, and I'm reaping the reward of all of that so many years ago, and maybe even so many years of it. But just to say this, the possibility exists for you to one day be truly, absolutely 100% free to design your day, to design your own schedule, to be free to achieve just enjoying the luxury of life that you could possibly have if you decided to live life on your terms. What do you want from life? And what would it take for you to achieve that? That is the focus, my friends, of the Free the Dream Conference, helping people achieve freedom in life. Freedom from limiting beliefs that are holding you back. Freedom from the self-sabotaging habits that you have. Freedom from your unhealthy, overweight lifestyle. Freedom from freedom from the relationships that are just unhealthy, that are holding you back, and actually giving you healing to the relationships that are essential in your life, helping for those of you who are married and your spouse isn't on board with your entrepreneurial dreams and desires. How can you change that? And how can you pursue a dream if your wife or your husband doesn't share that dream? So much. There's so much to Free the Dream. Guys, I don't have to do Free the Dream financially in my business. I don't have to do that weekend. You know what? If at this point right now, I think there's about 38 people who have already purchased their tickets for Free the Dream. Actually, no, it's 38 is the number of VIP plus number 8, like almost 50 people. Almost 50 people have purchased tickets to Free the Dream. And with what it's going to cost me to do to the Free the Dream and the amount of tickets come in, right now, if not a single person, not another person purchased tickets, it's probably going to end up costing me $20,000. Now, the thing is, my goal is to have 300 people. That's 250 more tickets. That would put us in a big, huge, gigantic profit margin for the event. That would be incredibly awesome. And you know what? All of that's going to be done. It's going to be to invest in something bigger and more awesome next year. But it's about, why am I doing it? Why? It's because I want other people not to achieve what I've got. That's not it. I do not want you to achieve what Cliff Ravenscraft's life is. I don't want you to achieve what Casey Neistat's life is. I don't want you to achieve what Gary Vaynerchuk's life is. I don't want you to live what Ray Edwards' life is. I don't want you to live anybody else's life. I want you to actually live the life of your dreams. And I absolutely, unequivocally know for a fact that it's possible. And not only do I know that, I know that you are meant for it. You were put on this earth to live the dream that God put inside of you. And I encourage you to come to Free the Dream Conference. freethedream.live. freethedream.live. That's the sales page where you can go right now and reserve your seat Reserve your ticket right now for the Free the Dream Conference. Come and set your dream free. Live the life and get to the place where you one day, I'm not going to tell you it's going to happen overnight. It's not going to happen in the first 90 days. And I'm not going to tell you that I'm going to help you get to six figures in 6 months. I'm not going to promise you any of that. I'm going to promise you that you're going to learn that you already have inside of you everything you need to succeed in living out the dream. It's just that it may take some time with some blood, sweat, and tears, but I'm going to promise you there's going to be a day where you too are going to struggle with how much margin you have in your life. But are you willing to do the work? Are you willing to say, I don't need easy, I just need worth it? If you are, go today. Right, not today. Go right now. Stop. We're done. Right now. Freethedream.live. Reserve your ticket. I'll see you in September.